Okay. There you go. All right, if you can see my screen. Yes, you can. Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Gaurav Shekhar. I'm the program director for the Graduate Business Analytics Flex and the online version of the program here at UT Dallas. I'm joined by my colleague Sivya Leventhal, who's the program manager for the Flex program, and together, anything that happens in the Flex world, we take care of that. This webinar is for us to introduce the Business Analytics program. Now, even though some of you have been on our webinars before as well, you may know a lot of these things, but we always tend to address some of the questions that may be there for somebody who's joining us for the first time. So the format of this presentation is going to be very straightforward. We'll take a few minutes, talk about the program, and then quickly jump into your questions. Now, if you have your questions, and I see already they are popping up in the chat, put them in the chat because we'll go through them one by one right at the end of my presentation, which should be not more than maybe 15 minutes of the time. Okay, now, even though you may have seen this presentation before, okay, one thing that I again want to iterate is why we really need a business analytics degree. What is such a need that the world requires business analytics professionals? Didn't we have enough degrees before, or didn't we have enough skill sets before, or didn't we have analytics related stuff going on before? Why a business analytics degree? Should we do this degree because it's fashionable to do it? Everybody's talking about analytics. You go to a company, they talk about analytics. You talk to a CEO, they talk about analytics. You talk about to a fresher. Now, whether the person knows about analytics or not, they will still talk about analytics. So why analytics? Why so much of a craze about analytics? The simplest answer to this is this craze is not fake. It is real. And this is real because the need is real. Why the need is real? All these years, and I'm talking about the pre-data years, the pre-analysis years, or even, okay, when I say pre-analysis, doesn't mean that analytics never existed. There is not a phase where it was completely absent and then it suddenly popped up. What I mean is that the emphasis on using your historical data did not have that much of a traction the way it has today. And honestly, data is just not about doing averages. And I'm talking to you as a professor of business intelligence, somebody who teaches analytics in the school. That it's just not about looking at a data set and doing some averages and finding out how we did last year in terms of those averages and how we are doing in the future. It's just not that. It's much, much more than that. At a very basic level, let's say that your data set has multiple variables that you're collecting. How are they correlated? Is one variable driving the other? These kind of questions is what the industry has, companies have. And there are lots of studies or researches that when you sit down with a data set and you look at these factors, that's where you figure out using methods, frameworks, mathematical methods that things are very different. It's not because, oh, I thought so, it should have been like that. No, there is no I thought so, because if you go by a I thought so approach, you might end up in a bucket where you have lost billions of dollars because you thought so. So companies moved away from a thought so approach to let's look at our data, put the models in, put the frameworks in, and then find out what it exactly is, not what you thought so. And now, if you feel that that's such a straightforward thing, that's where the gap is. The gap is because it's not such a straightforward thing, and you really require that training to be able to look at numbers, to be able to look at trends, to be able to look at the gray areas and then make decisions or make recommendations that maybe a CEO can take in and then make a decision out of it. A decision that will be worth billions of dollars, millions of dollars to begin with. So to do that kind of an analysis, you require people who have that skill set. Now, again, don't get me wrong on this, but analytics is not just about dashboarding. Dashboarding is maybe one part of the whole picture. If you feel that you've been making dashboards, that's not the whole analytics. Dashboards are like, it's like the end stage probably, where you're reporting your numbers. But how did you arrive at those numbers? There's a lot that goes before even you get to the point where you're dashboarding. So I wanted to emphasize on this because whether you are here on this webinar for the first time or you're here on this webinar the fifth time, you should know what really analytics is before you make that decision that, yes, this is for me. And this need for analytics professionals is growing exponentially. It's not a steady growth, it's an exponential growth. Because every year, every month, there are thousands of companies of variety of sizes that realize how they're lagging behind just because they're not using the data that they collect in a very efficient manner. So they want skills. They want people to come in and tell them how to wrangle that data and figure out what's going on. And that's why they need you. But you will be prepared when people like us, our program, take you through that whole journey of prepping you up. Why us at UTD? We are the largest in the country. And when I say largest, the first thing that comes to a lot of minds is being large a problem? It's actually a big benefit. Because we are the largest, the number of electives that a student can pick from in the Flex program is the largest in the country as well. Imagine you have to pick, let's say, and we'll talk about how we are split between core and electives, but 6 electives, 6 courses that you have to pick to complete this degree. That's one part of it. You have 70 choices, 70. Nowhere else, I can guarantee nowhere else you'll find those many choices. The average starting salary, which includes the base compensation, any signing bonus, any year-end bonus, the first year package the averages is around $100,000. And again, being a big class, we just graduated 314 students, by the way, last week. Again, the largest class that graduated from UT Dallas as a whole was the Masters of Business Analytics, 314 this spring. Spring of 20, we had 349, again, the largest class at that point of time. And despite these big numbers, we are still hitting 90+% placement in the first 3 months, 100K, around 100K in the first year. Those numbers just tell us that people like business analytics graduates from UT Dallas. Companies like them, and that's why they're hiring them, they're paying them the big bucks. We have partnerships with dozens of companies. And when I say companies, whether it's a big 4, whether it's a small or medium enterprise, whether it's a hyper-focused startup, or maybe it is somebody who's just a trendsetter in the industry, we have partnerships with all. And when I say partnership, it is not just about, oh, I know you on the email, you know me on the email, and we're done. These are people with whom we talk on a regular basis. We meet them at events. We worked with them on the non-academic sides, or sometimes even academic sides, just to get opinion about our coursework and all. Those kind of people, and they are mostly executives. Could be a senior VP, could be a CXO. There's a high return on investment because of these high packages. Let's say you had to take a loan for your entire education, you're able to pay it back very quickly. Now, any banking institution will give you anywhere between 7 to 12 years to return the money that you took as an education loan, plus whatever the interest is. Our students are paying it back in 3.5 years. We had somebody pay it off in about 10 months last year. And that tells us that how big packages these people are earning that they're able to comfortably pay off. And I'm not saying that you have to starve yourself to pay these off. These are very minimal amounts that you're paying every month. You're able to sustain yourself. Let's say that you're supporting your family somewhere else. You're able to send money to them. And even after that, you're able to be very comfortable. Internships are a big part of the program. They are required in the program. You get an opportunity to do that. 600 of them happened last year, all over the US. Yes, the East and the West Coast and Texas happen to be the top 3 spots, but our students went to all states. The average pay was about $24 an hour. And when you look at that number, $24, don't feel that it's a very small number, because the average ratio between an internship and a full-time job is a 1:2 thing. If you earn $1 in your internship, you will earn $2 for the same thing as a full-time employee. Now there are companies who pay interns and their full-time employees the same way, but we're talking about almost 360 companies here. Flexibility, engagement, and focusing on outcomes is what we do. Why it is important? We want you to be able to choose the courses to be on the path that you want to be. You should have the flexibility of choosing them in the order choosing them, and which courses you should be taking. It's your choice. We give you that option. We counsel you. We're not leaving you in the wild to just go and do it yourself. We'll give you the guidance that is required, but we will not enforce anything on you. Yeah, we'll enforce a few things. I'll take those words back. Then we'll enforce the fact that you have to be a good student. We'll enforce the fact that you have to work hard to be successful, but I think you won't mind if we enforce those kind of things. Engagement is key, because what you're doing inside the classroom and what you're doing outside the classroom, both are important in your growth. Your time here at UT Dallas will be very crucial, and you'll have the opportunity to rub shoulders with the top of the top minds in your classes. You'll have the opportunity to meet some of the industry leaders, have a first-hand experience with them rather than just watching them speak on a YouTube video, or being one of the 5,000 people sitting in a room, hearing them speak live, but in a small gathering, shaking hands with them. And yes, we hope shaking hands becomes a reality again very soon. Come fall, and that's going to happen. But those kind of things, student activities, student competitions. The School of Management, and one of the things that we have missed in the last 1.5 years, is the fact that once you enter that building, it's a different world. And I'm not saying that because I went to school at the School of Management several years ago, or I'm a program director here, or I'm an instructor here, but I'm just telling you from a standpoint that I've been to a lot of schools. I have never found that energy the way it is in this School of Management. And you will see that once you become part of it. And we're very focused on outcomes, because, again, you can do a million things, and if none of them are really yielding the outputs, the outcomes that you need, then there's a problem. Then the question goes back to, why are we doing it? Is it just because we want to do some busy work? And we constantly evaluate things that we're doing. Just because something was successful last year doesn't mean it will be successful this year. The needs change. Students want different things, and we keep a very close eye on that. See, at the end of the day, it is crafting that student experience for you that matters to us. Now, talking about the program, and I did see a few questions come before. It's a 36 credit program. We have 10 tracks, and we just added, if you have seen our curriculum before, we just add somebody needs to mute. Got it. All right. So we had, where was I? Okay. We have 10 tracks. We just added the Enterprise Systems Analytics track, where we teach courses using SAP. If anybody in today's call is an SAP fanatic and you have heard of the SAP Analytics Cloud, we are bringing that to UT Dallas in spring of 22. But this is a STEM designated program. How does it help? If you're a domestic student, there are a lot of companies that are looking for STEM professionals, because they do understand the kind of training a STEM student would have gone through, the intensive training around technology, around the science of things. But if you're an international student, you do get the extended OPT, which means that you can work for 2 additional years. And especially talking about international students, your student visa, because of this program being a STEM designated program, while you are a student, you have not graduated, but while you're a student, you can work for 364 days, which is almost a year, as an intern. So that's 1 year of work. Then you graduate, you get 1 year of OPT, 2 years in total now. And then because it's a STEM program, you can get an extension for another 2 years. So on your student visa, you can work for 4 years. The 3 formats, and this is our favorite part because a lot of you ask questions, what's the difference? The Flex program has 10 different tracks. So think of the Flex program as the mothership of all the possible offerings that we have. The 10 tracks are there. It's face-to-face. Most of the courses, as we go to fall 21, most of the courses are going to be in the class as we are going back to campus. 10, 12, 15% of them are online. They are self-paced, so you pick how many courses you want to take, how much time you want to spend on your degree. The quickest you can finish a degree in the Flex program is 9 months. The max time that you have for any degree at UT Dallas is 72 months. But in our program, you can finish it in 9 months if you want to. It's state funded. What does state funded means? Well, state funded means that, let's say that if you become a TA in the program, and that's just one of the benefits across the board. If you become a TA in the program, you get in-state tuition. Now you can become a TA in the cohort program as well. It's a different arrangement. It's a student worker position, but it's a teaching assistant. The only difference is you don't get that in-state tuition benefit there. Another thing is with the state funded program, the number of credits that you take, as the credits go higher, the per credit hour cost goes down. So in the cohort program, it's fixed. $1,528 for international students and per credit hour, and $1,250 for domestic. That's the cohort rate. With Flex, it goes down as you increase your credits. An international student will have to take 9 credits in a semester. And one of the things about the Flex program is after your 12 credits, which is 4 courses, you don't have to pay any tuition. That's the ceiling. The max number of credits you can take in a semester is 18, but credit number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 is free for you. I'll show you in the table in a few minutes how that works. Cohort, doesn't matter how many credits you take, it's fixed. You have to pay for that. There are scholarship options in the cohort program. There are scholarships options in the Flex program as well. In the Flex program, again, if you get the Dean's Excellence Scholarship, it's 2 semesters worth of in-state tuition. And the difference between the in-state and the out-of-state tuition is it's almost 2 times. So if you're a student who's not a Texas resident, it doesn't matter whether you're a resident of California or you're a resident of any country outside of US. It's the same tuition structure that you follow. The cohort program from an offering standpoint has 2 tracks, data science and accounting analytics. Now, I'm not saying that Flex doesn't have that. Flex also has all the tracks, but we took 2 of those tracks, copied it onto data science to the cohort program and created this program. The intent of the cohort program was to just focus on data science and accounting analytics. In the Flex program also, you have all the tracks. It's not like that data science is not there. The online program is completely online. 100% of the courses are offered online. You don't even have to come to campus. 2 of the tracks, data science and data engineering, is what we offer there. It's again self-paced, and you can get up to $15,000 in scholarship. So a Texas resident, let's say after scholarship, can finish this whole degree in $35,000. A non-Texas resident in $40,000. In the flex program, let's say that the best case scenario, you get scholarships throughout your ride. You can actually finish the program in less than $30,000. Full scholarship, right? Like full scholarship in the sense every semester you have a scholarship. And let's say you had scholarship and you tried to rake up more courses. You can even bring that down, that tuition down to as close as maybe $22,000. Now that'll be a lot of courses to take, but I'm just from a financial perspective, that is what's going to happen. So there's a lot of flexibility with the flex program. You can really choose how you want to go about it. Strong recommendation to go on LinkedIn and look for hashtag UTDMSBA. Now, right now we are having a lot of posts about graduation and all. Read about that as well. But UTDMSBA is a way for you to get some first-hand input into what our students are doing. These are their reflections. They are first-hand, unfiltered reflections about the program, about their internships, about anything that they're doing. Strongly recommend that you read it. Some recent successes, we love doing competitions. Another thing with this degree program is that you can also get some additional certificates. These are graduate certificates, not certifications. It's not like that it's not like an Oracle certification or an SAP certification. It's a certificate program. In other words, it's a mini degree. So let's say there's a business intelligence and data mining certificate, and it has 4 courses in it. These 4 courses would be part of the business analytics program. The difference is in the business analytics program, you have all these different choices that you have to pick from. In a certificate, because it's 3 or 4 courses, the choices are very limited. So if you take those 3 or 4 courses, you end up getting the certificate. Now, the benefit for a degree seeking student, let's say you came to UT Dallas just to get the certificate. Anywhere, depending on your residency, you will spend anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 on this. 10 to 15, I would say. For a master's student who's already in the program, you have to just take these courses and you pay $0 additional dollars to get this. So you are maximizing your money by taking these courses. And it's a diploma which is issued by a state university. It has much more weightage than any random certificate that you can get. Remember, this is not a Coursera or a Udemy or a edX. This is like a micro degree, and you can get this certificate even before you graduate from the main degree program. Apart from what you see, cybersecurity, business intelligence, enterprise systems, and healthcare, we have a 5th one coming up in the department called Applied Machine Learning Certificate. Right now, it's with the state of Texas for their approval, which we assume we'll get pretty soon, and before fall 21 hits, it will be live. Lots of student organizations at UT Dallas, about 350 of them, and 80 of them are in the School of Management. Now, the ones that you see on the screen are some of the ones where we have student leaders. Women in Technology, Salesforce, SAP, Accounting Analytics, Cybersecurity, Marketing Analytics, Project Management, Toastmasters, you name it, and our students are in these organizations. For your applications, we do need a GRE GMAT, we need transcripts, a resume, 1 letter of recommendation, and that could be from a professor, from a senior colleague of yours, manager, and a personal objective statement. 1-page long essay about why you want to pursue this degree. People often ask this question, what should we write in the essay? What we want to know is, how did you come to the point that you decided to pursue a master's in business analytics? And then after you get this degree, how will your career move on? That's the statement that we want in the simplest way. Letter of recommendation, again, a couple paragraphs is good enough, but somebody who has worked with you and who has supervised you, managed you, is a good person who can write this. Transcripts, we just need something which is unofficial to start with. because that's enough for us to make a decision. But as soon as we have the decision, we would want you to submit the official transcripts. And there are multiple ways to do that. Not everything has to go through postal mail. There are online mediums like TrueCopy through which institutions can send transcripts, or even if you're, let's say, your registrar's office from your previous undergrad university can send it directly to our admissions team, that's also acceptable. GRE, GMAT waivers are available for spring 22 as well. Fall 21 and spring 22. I would not say summer 21 because come this Monday, we are starting summer semester. So no more summer applications, but for fall 21 and spring 22, we are still offering it. Now, if you're looking for a scholarship and you are applying for spring 22, I would recommend you take the GRE or GMAT because that is a requirement to get a scholarship. If you're trying to apply for fall 21 and you want a waiver, go ahead with it because our scholarship deadline for fall was May 1st. So we cannot look into new applications for fall scholarships. But if you still want an admit for fall 21 and you're looking for a GMAT GRE waiver, go ahead, by all means, submit your application. And once you're done with your application, simply send an email to jsomgradvising@utdallas.edu, requesting them just a one-line email that you want to request a GRE GMAT waiver. Here we are, Sivya and myself, our contact details. You have been sending us emails, so you're aware of our email addresses, but if not, we encourage direct emails as well. But right now, what we encourage are your questions. So let's see, what do we have here? And I'm going to just pull up our page here so that and let me share my screen again for one quick moment. I want to show you something which might be useful. So I just Googled tuition UT Dallas to come to this point where I can look at the tuition plans and rates. I go to tuition rates, I go to the variable rate and guaranteed rate. Now, this is a question that we get. What's the difference between the two? The thing is, the variable rate is one where you start low, but then it increases at the rate of about 2 to 2.5%. Okay, anywhere between that. That's what we have seen on an average in the last few years. The tuition increases. So you might start low, but you will end up paying a higher thing later. Now, for people in the master's program, you're here for 1.5, 2 years. So this really won't affect you much. Most of you, even if you go with the variable rate, you'll end up saving a lot of money. Guaranteed rates start on a slightly higher end when you compare it to variable, but then guaranteed is locked. So let's say you start here and you're here for like 4 years. Your tuition will not change. The same tuition plan will apply to you from the time you started. Now that works for students, especially the ones who are doing undergrad degrees, because they're here with us for 4 years, 3 to 4 years. For them, it matters. For you as a master's student, I think variable should be okay. But look at both and make a decision for yourself. That's just my recommendation, nothing else. Okay, let's say a variable rate. We'll look at the 21-22. And the way to look at this is, make it a little bigger. Okay. Is first of all, you see how many credit hours you want. So let's say you're a full-time student, you want to go with 9 credit hours. The next thing you have to see is, forget the first two bigger blocks. These are all undergrad. You go to graduate. If you're a Texas resident, you look at your column here. If you're an international student or a non-Texas resident, you look at this one. So let's say a Texas resident for 9 credits would have paid $7,544 in tuition. Now, there is another fee on top of this, which is $100 per credit hour. So 7,500 plus 900 is about 8,400. 8,400 is your tuition. Similarly, for a non-resident student, that is 14,600 for 9 credits. And add another 900, that fee to it, you're looking at $15,500. Now, when you get a TA-ship, you get a scholarship, you jump from this bucket to this bucket. Another thing you have seen is, so how much is one credit? Let's say let's go to non-resident, okay? 2,400 is one credit. 2 credits is 3,900. So the average is about $2,000. One credit was for 2,400, 2 credits. The average per credit hour rate is 2,000. You go to 3 times, it's about 1,800 now. You go to 4 credits, it's lesser. You go all the way down to 9 credits. It's about 1,600 something. But if you look at 12 credits, $18,000 for 12 credits is about $1,500. But anything after 12 credits is same. Now this table is only until 15 credits, but you can take up to 18. But you can see 13th credit onwards, the tuition doesn't change. So let's say somebody wanted to take 15 credits. You're really spending $1,200 only per credit hour. Okay, so let's take some of the questions now. Okay, I'm going all
back
over
to 833.
Okay, 8, okay. I went 2 back. 833. So we talked about the difference between code and flex. After that, let's take it. Okay. Harpita, if we start the program online, are we eligible for summer internship? Absolutely yes and no. Why yes? Because it doesn't matter whether you take the credits online or you take it on campus. Credits are credits. The other thing about the program is that your internship begins at 18 credits. The minute you finish your 18 credits, you're eligible for an internship in the program. Now, some of you may have heard that you had to finish 2 long semesters, and maybe a lot of forums that you go to talk about 2 long semesters, or your seniors in the MSBA program, if you have interacted with them, may have told you 2 long semesters. 2 long semesters doesn't apply to you. It may have applied to your seniors, but not to you. Why? Because last year, starting of fall 20, we came up with a new requirement in the program where we said a student must complete 18 credit hours before they start an internship. And why 18 credit hours? Because unless you're done with certain number of courses, you really have not learned enough that you can go to an internship and apply it. Remember, internship is not a job. It's not a job. Don't look at it as a job. It's training. You are working in a professional environment. Yes, you're getting paid as well, but you still are getting trained. And what's the point of training if you have not learned anything? So that's where we took that decision of 18 hours, which means you finish your 18 credits in 1 semester, you can start your internship in semester 2. Now, we don't recommend that, but a lot of our students who started this spring, 21, they are aiming at finishing their 18 credit hours by the end of summer. And in fall, they're ready to do their internships. Now, in the earlier times, a spring student would have to do spring. Summer doesn't count as a long semester. They would have to study for fall, and it was only next spring that they would be eligible for an internship. It changes now. Now, I'm not saying that you have to finish your 18 by summer. That spring student can take the whole year and complete 18 credit hours. But if you are somebody who is completing it, you have the eligibility to do that. Another thing about flexibility that you can control when you start your internship. Is MSBA STEM? We answered that. And especially about the job opportunities, because it's a STEM program and you are right here in Texas. And I'm not saying that you have to take a job in Texas, but the West Coast, California, is all about tech companies. The East Coast is the financial arm of the country. Texas is an intersection of all the industries. Any industry. And with Tesla coming down to us, we can even talk about us being a place for auto manufacturers as well. We are no Michigan, but we are certainly a very big magnet for all the industries. And that's a good thing. If the place where you live can get you access to any industry, whether it is supply chain, whether it is analytics, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is IT services, it all is here. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is a huge place for you to really do something, anything that you want to. And what better things? The value of the money that you spend is much more here in Dallas, in Texas. There's no state tax. So what you're earning, you're able to get more out of it. And the other thing is, I'm sure you've heard about things called like everything is big in Texas. That is right. For the kind of money that you'll be spending, when you compare yourself to, let me get an example here. Okay, I think I have an example, a good example here. Don't look at the object, but just the size of this. If this is what you get for $1 in California, New York, this is what you get in Texas, something of this sort, this big. See the difference? That's what it is. Can we get application fee waiver code for MSBA? We don't offer application fee waivers, Shashank. I know there are other universities that do that, and mostly it is because they just want to bump in applications. We want to make sure that you're applying to UT Dallas, you're serious about it, and you're just not sending another application. One of the things about application fee is once you have applied to UT Dallas and you are a student, if you apply to another program, let's say the certificate program, for example, again, it would attract a $50 fee if you have to apply. You don't have to pay that fee anymore because you're a student. Or even after you graduate, you want to do another thing with UT Dallas, you never ever have to pay another application fee. It's only the first time that you have to. You can get a test score waiver for spring of 22 and fall of 21 as well if you want to apply. Even though our regular application deadline is over for fall 21, we still accept late application. There's a $75 fee, late fee that we assess, but we do accept it. Spring, it's open right now. If I have no work experience, what can boost my application? So Shambhavi, think about yourself as a part of a big jigsaw that corporate America is trying to build. Okay, there are some people who have more weightage, and in this case, it's called experience. But just because you don't have experience doesn't really make you a bad candidate. A lot of times companies are looking for people with lesser experience, or as a matter of fact, with no experience. People with no experience are more trainable. People with less experience are more moldable. Not saying that experience kills you, but if there is a requirement of experience, there is a requirement of fresh ideas and fresh perspectives as well. And everybody has a place. Till the time that you are hardworking, you can make whatever you want to make here. We have seen students go into really high-paying jobs right out of college with literally zero experience. The first time they had an experience was here as a student when they were doing an internship. Let's put it that way. And they still ended up getting a very good job, a very good package. See, having a lot of experience doesn't guarantee a job, and having no experience doesn't take it away. You have to be very aware of it, that there's a place for everybody, but you have to be hardworking. And sometimes, when we have things, I was recently watching a documentary, and probably you guys also may have watched this. It's called Alma Matters on Netflix. And one of the things that this is about the Indian Institute of Technology. And one of the things that one of the directors says that once you get into this institution, and this institution is the one where less than 1% of the people get in, maybe way less than that, you become complacent with your laurels. with your achievement. And here and there we do see people, whether you have experience or not, when you have achieved something, you become complacent with it. And when you become complacent, you don't push yourself enough. When you don't push yourself enough, somebody else is pushing themselves while you're not doing that. And they end up getting their results. They end up getting the fruits of it. So going back to the main thought here is that experience doesn't necessarily guarantee things, and no experience doesn't take it back. But at the same time, you have to be aware of what you are going for. Now, let's say you're going for a job that requires somebody to have 5 years of experience. There's a reason why that person needs to have that experience, because it's a senior role. But doesn't mean that that company doesn't have a role where they need freshers or somebody with lesser experience. The big four that hire from us, Deloitte, PwC, EY, KPMG, they come and they have all sorts of roles. They have roles for freshers who have 0 to 2 years of experience, and then they have roles for people with 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years of experience as well. Everybody is needed. That's what I wanted to say. Monica, if we start our course online for semester 1, how can we start our internship? I heard there's a rule that you have to be in US for a year in person to apply for internship. No, it's just the credits. The rule, again, our program explicitly specifies that you have to complete 18 credit hours to start your internships. And that's what we go with. Surabhi, the online lectures does not have timings mentioned in the Orion. How can we know the timings? What happens if those courses clash with other traditional lectures later? Good question, Surabhi. Now, the online courses that you see on our catalog, these online courses are pure online courses, and a pure online course is asynchronous. That's the best part about an online course. They are pre-recorded lectures that our instructors put ahead of the week. So whatever they're talking about, they record it and they put it on the e-learning platform. So you can watch it at any point of time in the week. You decide when you want to watch them. They may have weekly deliverables. They may have bi-weekly deliverables, like doing something on the discussion board, maybe doing a short assignment. That all has to be done within that week. And that is why you don't see any timings on Coursebook, because technically an online course doesn't really need a timing. It's up to you when you watch it. So talking about flexibility, that's another flexibility with the online courses. And these online courses, they're pure online courses. A pure online course is the one where it's pre-recorded. So it's completely 100% asynchronous. Can you elaborate about Mars? Nice planet. Great place. I'm just kidding on that. Well, Mars is it's an initiative by the graduate dean, Dr. Juan Gonzalez, and his team there. It's a research program which gives you about $1,000 if they accept. Technically, it's a way to encourage master's students, and especially in our School of Management, there is no requirement of writing thesis or doing research. I mean, we do encourage students to do research. In fact, I myself do a lot of research with students. But this is a way to incentivize those students who want to do a research, and they get this assistance of $1,000 to put their name in the hat and work on a research, and definitely that will help them in terms of what they're learning in the school, and also helping them in building their profile. You should have received an email from UTD about the Mars program. If you haven't, then I recommend Googling Mars UT Dallas. I'll put that link right here in the chat for anybody to see this later. But the deadline is July 1st for this. Remember that. And this program is for people who are enrolling in the first semester is fall 21 for them. And you should have been enrolled in 9 credit hours for fall 21 to be eligible for this. Remember that as well. Everything about what is required to be submitted. So it's like, think about it as an application to a degree program. Instead of degree, the focus here is research. Okay, going back. Shashank, we cannot give you application fee waiver. That's answered. Okay, please shed some light on how to register for classes, which courses to select in the first semester. Again, registration for classes has to happen after your holds are removed, and which should have been removed. If they are not removed, send me an email as to what holds you see on your account, and we will direct it to the appropriate department to remove it. I just want to make a few things clear. We in the program, me and Sylvia, we don't put or remove holds for you. We are not the ones who put those holds. They are departments like, the Student Health Center will have its holds. The International Students Office will have their hold. The Advising Office will have their hold. Us in the Business Analytics program have no holds, and we don't remove them as well. We also cannot put you into courses. The Advising Office is the only body on campus that can put you, a student, into a course. Not even the dean can do that. Why? Because we want to make sure that the right set of individuals know what you're going for, and they help you in enrolling. They make sure that you're enrolled in the right classes, and that's why all that responsibility falls on our Advising Office. So if you're not able to do it, the Advising Office will. Now, some of the courses that we recommend at the start of the semester is, and I'll kind of open up my catalog page here. Now, again, this catalog will get updated very soon because we're going to have our new 2021 catalog with the new courses and all. Let's go with the old one for now. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. So 6 of the courses are core courses, and then we have the 10 tracks with all the electives. Remember, you don't have to declare any track. You can just simply pick up a course, and you don't have to take all the courses from a track. You can pick one course from 6 tracks or take all 6 courses from one track. It's up to you. These are electives that you can take. It's not like that your degree will say Masters of Business Analytics in Accounting Analytics, no, or Master of Business Analytics and Data Science. It won't say it like that. It doesn't talk about your concentration or your track. A track is just a way for us to club courses that gear towards a common area. So if you talk about, if your question is, what courses should I take to help me work towards data science? Well, we have a track for that. This is what those courses are. Okay, coming back to my core courses. We encourage that students, first of all, every person has to do a 1 credit hour professional development in the first semester, and you would have had that on your admit letter as well. In case you did not have calculus in your undergrad degree, we would have asked you to take OPRE 6303 as well, which is a first semester course. Doesn't add to the 36 credits, it's just a program prereq. Similarly, the professional development course is not part of the 36 credits. It's the literally the 37th credit, but you can waive out of it. How do you waive out of it? You go to the Jindal website, go to advising, forms, and this is where you have all your forms that you need. And this is the course, MAS 6102, the professional development course, and you can waive out of it by just filling this out. Now, it's not just filling it out, but you have to meet this criteria. Either you are an experienced professional who has 2+ years of experience, or you've completed this course through another degree, another program, etc. Or you're part of the MBA program. So if you meet any of these criteria, you can get that 1 credit waiver. The other courses that we recommend in the first semester is Advanced Statistics for Data Science. The reason why we recommend this one is because a lot of advanced courses that we have in the program require this as a prereq. Another one that we recommend is BA with R, which is our OPR BOAN 6356. Again, it's a prereq for, let's say you want to go with a data science or a data engineering related course. It's a prereq for that. The third one that we recommend is the database foundation for business analytics. For a lot of our data engineering related courses, that could be prereq. For example, if you want to do big data, the prereq is this course. Now, nobody says you have to do all three of them in the first semester. You might end up taking, let's say, advanced statistics, which we strongly recommend in the first semester. And then maybe pick BA with R or database. And if you really need three courses, and please don't count professional development there, the third course could be any of your electives. You can take electives in the first semester. If they have no prereq, you can do that. For example, the RPA class that I teach, BOAN 6385, has no prereqs. The database class has no prereqs. The SAP Analytics class has no prereqs. And if you received an email recently from me about the courses that you can take, you will see that there are ones listed which have no prereqs. Okay. All right, so Rani, can you please give a brief about the significance about subsections and what subsections are? So subsections are nothing but treated as there's one course and there are 5 sections of it. 5 different instructors are teaching the same course. They are all happening at different time, different day of the week, and you pick it up as per your convenience. Whatever time suits you, you pick that question. That's the only significance. However, if a course has a OW1 prefix next to it, and let me just pull up our course book here. That will help you. And I'll just take an example here for, let's say, so this is 6320 right now. These subsections that you see 001, 003, 501, 502, all these, you will see they have a date. If they have a day and a time associated, that means it's an in-person section. Where it says no meeting room means it's a purely online section. Everything about this class, even if you are sitting on campus, you will not go to a physical room for this particular section. I'm talking about Professor Hussein's section. And OW1 is the way to see whether it's an online section or not. Completely online. Now, we did send out some recommendation a few days ago for fall. And those are the sections where there may be a possibility to help people who may not be there at the start of the classes in the class, but they're attending remotely to have access to the materials, even though it's not remote, including the instruction part. We're kind of working on it right now, how that will be happening, but those are the courses where we can say with confidence that if you are not in the US and you want to get started, and let's say you come to the US after 4 weeks of the start of the semester, you got your visa for the second 8 weeks, and you're here in the US, you can enroll in, you can come and be in the class. What we recommend is if you are anticipating that kind of delays, please go with the list that we sent you, because in those sections, we have the arrangements made that, okay, if you are trying to attend it from another country or so, and that is only because it's not a scheduling convenience, it's because your inability to come to the US, that's why. Now, just for an example, let's say that you were enrolled in 6320.001 for the first 4 weeks, and then you came to the US and now you're like, oh, you know what, I want to go into 6003. That doesn't work. After the deadline has passed to swap classes, you cannot really move between sections. And how do you know what's the deadline is? There's something called the academic calendar. How do you go to the academic calendar? utdallas.edu. Start with that. Go to academics. Go to academic calendar. And you will see your current calendar will be listed, but future calendars would be here. This calendar applies to every student on campus, irrespective of your program. These 2 pages are the ones that every department follows. There is nothing called, okay, for business analytics students, there'll be different dates. For supply chain or ITM, there'll be different dates. No, everybody follows the same calendar to the dot. When we talk about enrollments or swapping, etc., all that is listed here. What is the last day to do it? For example, the last day for regular registration is August 19th, which is nothing but the Thursday before the start of classes. The classes begin on August 23rd.
Excuse me, sir. Are you trying to show us the
oh, my
screen?
Apologies. My apologies. You know, thank you. I was not sharing my screen. My apologies again. Let me share it. This is so embarrassing, but my apologies, guys. Thank you for letting me know before I went too far. Okay, I'll go back to utdallas.edu. All right, so when you're on the utdallas.edu page, you click on academics, go to academic calendar, and whatever the current term is, that will be there. But as you scroll down, you'll see the future terms. And that's where you see the dates. Now, as you can see that all these days, as I mentioned, these are for the entire university. So I was talking about the last date for regular registration for the full term. And if you're in a 3 credit hour class, it's going to be full term. It's going to be August 19th, which is nothing but a Thursday before the start of classes, which is August 23rd. Now they do have late registration as well, which means that starting August 20th to August 30th, you can still register in classes. There'll be a late fee of $100 that'll be assessed, but you can still get into those classes. There's a last day to add or swap. This is what it is, these dates. So when you're swapping classes, and this date that you see, Census Day, is an important day for us because September 8th is when that you just stop your enrollments. Everything stops here on September 8th, not enrollments, but everything. At this point of time, the State Department gets a list of all the students who are enrolled in the program, and they go from there. Now, what's the significance of the census date? The second page of this document talks about your payment and payment deadlines when you have to pay. Now, you may have seen that the early registration payment deadline is July 28th. This is for people who are continuing at UT Dallas, not for first semester students. For first semester students, August 19th is what seems to be a good payment deadline, but that again is not the deadline for the first semester students. And if you can give me a second, I'll give you the exact date as well. The reason why we give you additional days is because as a first semester student, we understand that you're getting used to all this system and you need some additional days. And that's why the university, it's not us in the program, but it's the university that is giving you these extra dates. And I'm just trying to get you Okay. So this date of September 2nd, which right now is listed as the date for financial aid recipients. So if you got a scholarship or TA-ship, and you don't get a TA-ship in the first semester, but generally for them, the date is September 2nd. This is a date for even first-year students. Why? Because as I said, we want to give you some additional days, and you will see on your holds, there is something called a positive hold. A positive hold is something that just helps you understand that there is something that happened in your favor and you need to be aware of it. It's like a post-it on your account. You will see a positive hold which tells you that your deadline to pay has been extended. So September 2 is your deadline for all the first semester students who are starting in fall 21. And similarly, anybody who's starting in whatever semester it is, for the first time, financial aid recipients, that deadline is the deadline for them. Now you can see there's a lot of stuff that is put on this document, and that's why that we don't have that explicitly written here, but September 2nd. And you will see that hold, as I said, on your account. And again, that is not just a business analytics deadline, it's a university deadline. Okay, so we talked about the sections, we talked about, okay, how do we know whether we have to enroll for prerequisite OPRE 6303? What is the fee for the same? The fee is the same, it's three credits. So at the end of the day, you don't pay per course, but you pay for the number of credits that you've taken overall in a semester. And if you have to take OPRE 6303, it will be put on your admit letter. How many courses can we take in summer along with internship? Well, generally, we don't recommend more than 2 courses, whether you're doing an internship or not. But I would say that if you're doing an internship, don't take more than 1 course. And the reason is because you want to excel at your internship as well, right? You don't want to do stuff which is, half the effort is given to your internship and half the effort is given to your coursework, and you're not succeeding at both the places. So we want you to have a manageable load, and that is 1 course and your internship should be good. Summer, most of the students end up working 40 hours a week. So again, it's a lot of work for a very short period of time. Okay. We are asked to take BUAN 63 or 6337 and BUAN 6359 in our but in the course requirement, 63 the prereq for 6335. Okay, good question, Akash. Let me answer that using my catalog here. Sorry. Okay, let's do this. So 56, how to read this, that what is your prereq and correc. So BUAN 6356, and I'm opening any of them, doesn't matter. It says prerequisite or co-requisite. This word co-requisite is important. Why? Because if it says just prereq, that means whatever is listed in this section has to be taken before you take this course. So let's say if it was just prereq, that meant that BUAN 6359 should have been taken in a semester before you are deciding to take BA with R. But since it says or correc, which means both BUAN 6359 and 56 can be taken together in the same semester because it's a correc. 6337 has a different story here. It just says prereq. So you have to take BUAN 6359 first, and then in a second or a third or a fourth or whatever semester it is, you'll have to take 6337. And as far as I know, we have not asked anybody to take 6337 in the first semester. I hope that answers that. Alex, the visa that is given out, the F1 visa is valid for 5 years. So your work authorization is different from your visa. Sometimes the work authorization is still there while your visa expires. You can always go and renew your visa, your student visa. Again, just because you have your work visa and your work authorization has expired doesn't mean that you can just work on the basis of your visa. Your work authorization has to be active. And that's why both these things are separate. I have an admit for fall 21. If things don't look, can I defer to spring 22? You can, but I would recommend that don't just defer right now if you have for fall 21. Let the situation unfold. Things may become different. Remember, from being very positive about everything going right to all the cases and all cropping up, it was just 3 weeks. So if things can go bad in 3 weeks, they can become much better in a shorter amount of time as well. So what I would recommend is just wait for now, assess the situation somewhere in July, between mid to end of July. If you still feel that it is not possible, then defer, but it is possible. But if you have a scholarship and you defer, the scholarship doesn't get deferred. You'll have to apply again and you're put back into a pool and there is no guarantee that you'll get the scholarship. Deferment, if accepted, at least guarantees you that, okay, you have an admit, your start date has shifted. And if fall 21 was your first year when you actually got an admit and you've never deferred, you can defer by one full academic year. And there'll be no questions asked. We'll simply move your start date to the next, to any semester in the next 1 year. But another thing that I've learned from last year, and last year the situation was worse in the US, was the fact that students who started online, let's say for a semester, all of them were here in spring. And now they did their semester here. They're gearing up for their internships. And when fall hits, they'll be having an on-campus experience. So think about how this deferment is really helping you. I understand that things are very challenging right now, and there are other priorities that you may be having. But then having said that, everybody's situation is different. So we don't want to be the judge of your situation. You are the best one to understand it, but this is just a recommendation. Can I apply for the Flex program, complete the program, live in my country, and work in the US with the degree? Well, again, to be eligible for an OPT, you have to be here in the US for 1 academic year and be enrolled in the program. Shashank, I think this question has come up multiple times now. We cannot get an application fee waiver. We don't give it. After completing MSBA, can you do MSIT? Absolutely, you can do that. In fact, if you add a second master's degree, you don't have to finish another 36 credits. 2 master's degrees together can be finished in 55 credits. An MBA, if you add an MBA, it is 63 credits. So it can be done. You just have to make sure that you work with your advisor in the first semester if you really have that plan in mind, and just work out what courses you have to take, so that you don't end up taking something that will not apply to any of the programs. Avinash, I'm a working professional and can't join full-time course on campus. I'm looking for other options. Can you please explain the difference between Flex and online for MS Business? What is the criteria of being a Texas resident? Avinash, again, the online program is 100% online. All the courses will require you to watch them at your pace, at your convenience. You do have opportunities to talk to the instructor, the TA, the other people in the program, but from an instructional standpoint, the online courses are designed in a way that it gives you much flexibility on your time schedule. There is no particular time in the week that you have to sit and watch those lectures. The other thing is the criteria for being a Texas resident is the best thing is just Google residency UT Dallas, and it will tell you what the criteria is. But having completed a high school degree here, or got your bachelor's here, or if you are working in Texas, you are an American citizen, but you have been here in Texas for a year, that is one way to get it. If you're on some kind of a work visa, let's say an H-1B, then you should be on your H-1B for 1 full year, 12 months to get a Texas residency. But I strongly recommend look for residency, UT Dallas, and the first link that comes up on Google will give you the whole criteria as to what qualifies. What are the prereqs for the enterprise system analytics track? Again, there's no track prereqs. There could be prereqs for the courses that you take there, but pretty much a lot of them do not have prereqs. The ones that have may require a foundational enterprise resource planning class that we have. I have applied for I-20 more than a week ago. How long does it receive? As there's a lockdown, I am not able to get an attested copy. What can I do? Okay. Shailesh, in terms of your attested copies for your degree, this university definitely will give you some time to go and procure it if it requires additional time. What I would recommend is email admission. It's a single word, admission@utdallas.edu, and let them know why you're not able to get your degree in time and how much time approximately will it take, and let them give you that extension. As far as the I-20 is concerned, if it was just in the last week, just give it a couple more days. If you don't hear back by, let's say, Tuesday, send me an email and I'll follow up with the ISSO. Aman, to become a TA in the program, when should we start searching for open positions and connecting with? Well, number one, connecting with professors is not required. That's not part of the application. It's not like the professor can come and tell us that we want this person. Yes, we will take that into consideration, but that really doesn't work out, because let's say that you are a good candidate, but you have not taken the courses that we are looking for, or you don't have a good grade in the ones that we are looking for, or for some other reason you don't qualify to be a TA. So honestly, all you have to do is just apply, and you can apply to be a TA in the very first semester. We will only look at your grades towards the end of your semester. And let's say your grades have not come because you're in the first semester. We will reach out to the instructors just to give an idea about how do you stand in the class, what kind of a student you are. We may do that, we may not do that. Your combination of courses also is important, because a lot of times you end up becoming a TA for multiple courses, and you cannot be a TA for multiple courses if you have not taken those courses. For us, the bare minimum thing is you need a 3.4 GPA. We need you to have an A in the course that we are hiring you as a TA. And that's important. Okay, Lee, is the application for fall 21? No, Lee, the application is still on. The regular deadline is over, but you can always apply now. We take applications all the way until a week before the start of classes. So give yourself August 15th as the last date to apply, but you can still apply. And if you're going for a GRE GMAT waiver, you just have to apply and send an email to JSOMGR advising, one word, at utdallas.edu. And they will look into your undergraduate transcript to figure out whether they want to give you that waiver or not. Most of the classes right now, we're going back to the face-to-face mode. And there are going to be a few online classes as well, but not the way we used to do it last year, where potentially every class had that online option. Kian, I have been enrolled by MSBA. I want to know, when can I register my courses? Are Chinese vaccines accepted by UTD, and will I need to be quarantined after I have been to UTD? Will extra vaccine be needed? First of all, UTD is not mandating vaccination anywhere. We are recommending it strongly, but we are not mandating it. As far as, you may require a COVID test once you're here, and you'll have to quarantine 3 to 5 days before you take the test once you arrive into the country. But if you are vaccinated in your own country, that should be okay. We are not asking you to take that vaccine and then, we don't want you to play a medical Powerball with your body, with injecting all these different vaccines. You take the vaccine that you feel comfortable with. And when you feel comfortable with, if you want it here in the US, we do have availability of vaccines right here in the US. Again, quarantine for 5 days once you're here, and then get a COVID test, go get your vaccine. In fact, right now it's available at almost every place. We have a vaccination site right behind the School of Management. You have to exactly walk for 30 seconds to go from the School of Management to the vaccination site. 30 seconds, I can guarantee you that. When can you register for courses? You should be, so this past Wednesday is when all the holds were dropped, so that you can register. Now, in case you still have any holds on your account, send me an email and I'll see what department it is. But do mention what hold it is. Or if you can send a screenshot of the hold as well, that is great. Okay, I see that we have crossed our hour here, but I'll take all these pending questions that we have here. Tisha, I want to know about internships and full-time CPT. Again, internships can only start after 18 credit hours. You can work for 1 year, 364 days if you're an international student. The program requires one internship, and you can take anywhere from 0 to 3 credits for an internship. Your first internship can be a 0 credit internship, and then after that, you can take all 3 credits in 1 semester, or you can split 3 internships and take 1 credit each. For each credit, you'll have to work 80 hours with your employer. And for domestic students, again, if you're working at some place and you have something to do with analytics at your workplace, a special project at that workplace can also count for an internship. As far as full-time CPT is concerned, this is for international students only. You get 1 year, you have to apply for OPT before you graduate. Oh, sorry, full-time CPT, my apologies. Full-time CPT, if you work on up to 20 hours a week, that is part-time CPT, and this is internship. CPT is internship. And anywhere between 21 hours to 40 hours is considered full-time. And you can do that any semester that you want to. How do I get scholarship throughout the course? I have already received 2 semesters and I want to extend the same. Well, you all apply for scholarships every year. As a continuing student, you have to apply in fall for the fall semester. There'll be emails sent by the school telling you that scholarships are open, so just simply go ahead and apply. And again, your academics are an important part of whether you get that scholarship or not once you're here at UTD. Once you're here at UTD, we don't look at your GRE GMAT. We look at what you've done at UTD. Your UTD GPA, your UTD work matters for the scholarships. And Shashank, I think this is the 5th time, 6th time. Well, we don't give application fee waivers. 7th time. Oh man, I've counted 7 now. I hope you're there to know that we don't give the scholarship waivers. Sorry, application fee waivers. What would be the recommended number of hours taken per semester? I would say if you really want a healthy load, 9 is good. You can add maybe another 1, 12. Don't go beyond 12. I'm not stopping you. There are people who do that. But 9 to 12 is what I consider a healthy load, because you need to do stuff outside the class as well, right? You need time for that. Scholarship has already ended. Yes, scholarship deadline was May 1st. Oh man, the scrolling is not my friend today. Sai, what knowledge should we have about coding? You don't need a boatload of coding experience to be successful in the program. Again, we are in the School of Management. We are more towards the application of technology rather than coding or creation of technology. There will be coding required, and I would not say it is not, but if you have basic understanding about coding, or even if you don't have it and you put that effort to learn it, it's not doable. It's absolutely doable, and people do that every semester. Yes, if you have no experience with coding, there will be a learning curve for you when it comes to coding, but it's not like that it's intense coding and all we do is just coding. For us, a lot of it depends on interpretation of results, or the fact that why do we really need a certain piece of a software or technology to solve the problem. That's our focus. There is no fee waiver of whatsoever it is. What are the chances of acceptance for a student with no full-time? I think, Shambhavi, we took this. We need all sorts of students. The class requires it because that's the variety that we provide to the student body. People with experience, with no experience, with some experience. And there are some people who come into the program just thinking that what did they sign up for? Only to realize by the end of the program that this was the best decision of their lives. So we have all sorts of people. How many MSBA students will we have this fall? Well, we hope that we go back to our regular numbers. Our regular numbers have been somewhere between 300 to 400 in fall, 100 to 150 in spring, and say about 10 to 30 in summer. Mayuri, this is related to enrollment, joining on F2. F2 doesn't require I-20. Mayuri, I think F2 does require I-20 because F2 dependence, and there is something about requiring an I-20 here. I think the best person to answer this question would be ISSO, if you can reach out to them.
Hi, Professor Gaurav.
All right. My UTD MS in Business Analytics application is under graduate final. By when can I tentatively expect the decision? Well, if it's in the final review, should be another week. Again, after we in the department, we approve an application, it goes through multiple offices. And because it goes through multiple offices, it takes that time. Okay, Nizam. Are the credit hours completed virtually considered under 18? Absolutely, they are. They are. But there is no differentiation there. Monica, requirements for MSBA scholarship for fall 21. Well, it's over now, but we needed the GRE and the GMAT apart from your other documents. Okay, Navneet, I'm planning 12-12-9-3. Which will this be an issue? Will I have because of the 9-3? Okay. If you do, so in your final semester, let's say you're not left with 9 credits, you're left with lesser than 9 credits, you can take those. Not a problem. Gautam, with GRE waiver, can't we get a chance to avail the scholarship? Unfortunately not. And the reason is because when we are evaluating people for a scholarship, we need something which is common across the board. So that's where a GRE or a GMAT score comes handy. Of course, the other parts of your application are also important, but somewhere we have to draw a line for comparison, and that's where those scores come in handy. I applied for I-20 more than a week ago. How long does it take? Okay, we just answered that question, but if you don't get by Tuesday, just let me know. Anirudh, let's say I start online this fall and complete 9 credits and arrive in the US in spring and finish 9 credits. I would have completed 18 credits. Am I eligible for during? Well, again, Anirudh, you wouldn't have completed 18 credits until the end of spring 22. So at the end of spring 22, you would have completed your 18 credits, and that's when we will let you do an internship for, let's say, summer. As far as presence in the US, so we have had students who started, just to give an example, started in fall 20 remotely. Spring 21, they were here in the US. They completed their 18 credits. Some are there. I mean, at least 10 of them I remember off the top of my head that very recently got approved for an internship. Can previous data analytics, data science, business analytics bootcamp certificates be considered for a person that requested? Unfortunately not. What we look at is, you can add that to your application, but what we look at is your undergrad degree. Can I apply to 2 courses? Absolutely you can, but you will have to accept one. When we progress with you, you'll have to have one accepted and the other one has to be revoked or withdrawn. Vanilla, I have been admitted to fall 21. My question is regarding the registration. Could you explain more about the same as to what the deadline to finish the registration? Well, we just talked about the deadlines, but the academic calendar is the one that helps you with the deadlines. For you, the absolute deadline for a full-term course is August 19th. And then if you want to get into the late registration period, which will attract a $100 fee, August 20th to 30th. And this is only for fall 21. Sri, if I complete 12 credits in spring and 6 in summer, am I eligible for an internship in fall? You are. 18 credits, remember. How would exams be conducted for online lectures? Well, Again, we have an e-learning platform. We also have things like HonorLock, which is an AI-based proctoring tool. We are also considering some of the remote proctoring services, but it depends on the instructor, how they go about it. When I conduct, for example, I conduct my online exams, I go with the honor code, not HonorLock, the AI proctoring tool, but the honor code that people will not cheat. And again, the exams are constructed in a way that two people can sit together, and it'll be challenging if they have no clue about what is there. So it depends on how the instructors do it. Okay, Samantha, a scholarship deadline for fall 21 has ended. This can be applied only once before the admit, or is there another chance for us to do when we complete first semester? Well, Samantha, once you're a continuing student, the only time you apply for a scholarship is every fall, for the fall one. So let's say that you come to UTD in fall 21, the next scholarship you can apply for is fall 22. The deadline for that fall 22 scholarship would be May 1st of 22. Mr. Manoj, what are the scholarships available other than Dean's for new incoming students? Well, Dean's is one. We also have another one for marketing analytics students. There are some third-party scholarships that are given by some of our partners, but those don't really attract the in-state tuition. That could be a few thousands of dollars, maybe $1,000. Most of the incoming students go with the Dean's Excellence. But once you're here and you're a continuing student, there are a lot of donor scholarships apart from the Dean Scholarship that you can apply for. No application fee waiver is given out for MSBA, folks. You can come from any background. Honestly, background is not a problem for us. The reason why we say that is because every background or every field or every domain requires business analytics. So, okay, Shailesh, we answered that question about what can we do. Can we do a full-time CPT for 1 year and then graduate after finishing the courses and then work for? Absolutely. Paushali, a lot of students do that. A lot of students do that. Is professional development counted as part of the 3 credit to be a full-time student? It is not. It's a 1 credit course, Aja. It's 1 credit and it is technically outside of the 36 credits. But as I said, you can waive off from this. And that's why we don't count it as part of the 36 credits. Sagar, we talked about the pharmacy background. You're more than welcome to apply. Shambhavi, can we get a recording? Yes, we will send this out to all the registered people. Aja, is there any way we can get online recording of classes so that we can revise being a face-to-face? Well, if you're a face-to-face student, this again will depend whether the instructors provide it or not. This will be at their discretion. But honestly, if you're coming back to face-to-face, I would recommend thinking about how you can maximize that time in the class. Again, depending on instructor, they will either record it or not, but that's left to the instructors. What are the scholarships? We talked about that. Are the credit hours completed? Yes, you can complete them virtually. They will count. Mayuri answered that question about your for F2 after getting admission. Am I ready to enroll for fall semester? Yes, absolutely. Once you have your visa, again, once you have your eligibility to study, you can just go ahead with your classes. 3-year bachelor's degree from India accepted, Ashwin? Yes, they are. Aman, you're welcome. Shamant, I have enrolled for MSBA, but I'm applying for I-20, but due to lockdown, I'm unable to get a financial bank statement. What can you do? So instead of is there a way for you to log onto your website or somehow get some kind of download of your statements if you're not able to get them attested or anything? See, the ISSO would require some kind of statement, an official statement from your banking institution as to what do you have. Honestly, try reaching out to the customer care of the bank. Sometimes they're able to help if the actual branch is not able to. Gautam, you're welcome. Sagar, is there any way to get application? No, Sagar, you cannot get it. We don't give out application fee waivers, but as I said, for the first application, once you're a student, apply 100 times and you'll get 100 waivers on that application. Mayuri, I think the best way to go about it is, and the reason why I'm not able to help is because there may be some facets I'm not aware of about the F2 visa. What I would recommend is send an email to ISSO prospective@utdallas.edu, CC me in that, and I will talk to somebody in ISSO to see if they can help you quickly on that. Navneet, you're welcome. Shailesh, you're welcome. I think that's the end. Good deal. It just took us a few more minutes, but we were done with this. But thank you so much again, folks, for joining us this morning. And it's always good to see you guys and talk to you about your questions. But we are here. Send us an email, or if you want to hop into one of these sessions again, do that. The recording will be sent. But we are very glad that you're coming to UT Dallas. And again, just be assured of one thing. Your student experience here is going to be one of the most enriching things in your life. And I'm not saying that as a program director, but I'm saying that as a student who has gone through it, a student who put his own hard-earned money into the university, into the program, to know that it works. So absolutely, we look forward to having you here at the university very soon, and hopefully see you in person. But until then, take good care of yourselves, and we'll connect with you soon.
Sir, one last doubt. For the transcripts, can we submit them when we come personally, or should we be mailing them from the registrar office directly?
Well, if you are taking them personally from your institution, they have to be in sealed envelopes. Every seal has to have a stamp on it, and they should be unopened. But I would not recommend that, because let's say they get rejected. You are here in the US and it'll be much more difficult. But if your registrar's office can send it directly to our admissions team, then that is accepted.
Can we have the mail of that thing? So
admission@utdallas.edu.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you and have a good one.